The Bears have their X factor for this week's game against the Washington Commanders, and it will shock you. Welcome to Bears Digest, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Dylan Guinzy. Thank you for joining me once again. If you have not subscribed already, please do so. We just ran this new report the other day from watch time from subscribers, and it looks like 94% of you watchers are not subscribed, so please be sure to hit that bell to get those updated notifications, rumors, everything that's coming our way as Bears fans. I'll be here with it, so be sure to hit that button there. So today, guys, what we're talking about is a specific player who made some massive mistakes last year against the Washington Commanders, the same team that we were playing here this week. And this is a similar situation in terms of where we're at in the season, the importance of this game, where this could lead you going forward as a team for the rest of the season. So massive implications, and this player is going to be the X factor for this week. So let me know down below, guys, what you guys think the score will be, some keys to the game. I'm always curious to hear from you guys, and especially about this week's game after the bye here against the Washington Commanders. So let me know what you guys think down below. But without further ado, we're going to get started on this information here about Tyrique Stevenson. So Tyrique Stevenson, of course, was talking about last year's game. This article just came out. I'll pop it up for you guys the other day. Kind of just throwing in some quotes from Tyrique Stevenson and his mistakes that he went through last year in the Washington Commanders game. Obviously, the Hail Mary game kind of derailed the Bears' season. So, of course, let's get right into that gist there of what he had to say. It still hurt, Stevenson said on Intercepted with Kevin Byard, just to see people try to define who I am off one play, one game out of the other 30 starts I had. But at the end of the day, I got to take it. Honestly, I wear it. That's not who I am, but that's who I showed. I am in actions. Who I showed I am, and actions speak louder than words. The only thing I can do from that point on is prove it to my teammates. Furthermore, Tyrique Stevenson was talking about that moment. When I hear people talk about it, I kind of get away from it. I see the video, I watch it, because at the end of the day, I want that to be a memory in my head of what not to do, Stevenson added. I think that's the first time in my career I ever let the game be bigger than what it is. I think that right there was a selfish moment, and I think that's just karma. So what we're learning here from Tyrique Stevenson is he has learned from that moment. Obviously, that was a out of character moment for Tyrique, and at that time, it felt like he wasn't really learning from those mistakes, and Matt Eberflus wasn't really holding anybody accountable at all either, or other teammates weren't then doing it either because the staff is not trickling that down. So it just felt like Tyrique wasn't really learning it from that moment. He wasn't playing very well that point forward, and we honestly didn't know if he was going to be really a factor in this team this year under this regime. But he has really, really stepped it up, and we're going to get into his stats and numbers and things that he's done this year here pretty soon. But he's really stepped it up for the Bears this year, especially in Jaylon Johnson's absence. So he's done an amazing job, and he's going to be the X factor this week against the Commanders, and to see how he can kind of play his revenge game or kind of get his thoughts back on track from that game last year. One thing I always wanted to note, of course, as well, is Ben Johnson's quote on him the other week regarding him being better and more confident. Certainly, I think the confidence level is rising. He knows what he is capable of as a player. The coaching staff hasn't kept that a secret. He's very capable as a coverage defender. I think he can be a complete corner in this league. Man, zone, come up and tackle in the run game when called upon. Really just seems like he is gaining that confidence every single week right now and becoming the player he is capable of. So, of course, Tyrique Stevenson has really stepped up to the plate, especially the last couple of weeks. You had the turnover that was big in the Dallas game. You had the game after that in the Raiders where he had a beautiful pick, beautiful effort play coming out of halftime there in that first possession that Geno Smith and the Raiders had. A great interception from Tyrique there. So you're just kind of seeing him improve. You're seeing him be more confident on the field. And with that being said, the Commanders are probably going to try to target him, right? He could be seen as a weak link at times. And obviously, being the Commander saw him last year completely fumble that, Hail Mary, and him, yelling at the crowd and talking smack to the crowd and not being in the play ultimately gave them that win. So I would expect them to target him a lot and early and often and go his way with the football with their receivers in their passing game. So it's a big step for Tyrique to be able to take here and kind of show that he has changed as a player and a person as well. So just another year. Chicago kind of released a tweet here this morning. I thought it was interesting. Week 6 is here, and it's redemption week for Bears cornerback Tyrique Stevenson, not only for what happened at Washington in 24, but the rough start to 25. But he's been on a heater the last 2 weeks, 9 total tackles, 1 interception, forced fumble, and fumble recovery, 16 yards allowed. Rooting for him big time. Of course, yeah, I mean, I think everybody's rooting for him at this point. Obviously, the way the year started, he was kind of burnt toast at the start there. But I guess, Justin Jefferson in week 1 and Amon-Ra and other guys week 2, whatever, right? We had a lot of injuries going on. But yeah, it wasn't the greatest start for him, but the last 2 weeks he has been all-pro level good. The last 2 games, 100%. There's no denying it. He has forced turnovers. He's made big plays in coverage. He has been all over the place, and he's done a fantastic job for the Bears, and we need that going forward, especially against the really good Commanders team coming off a bye week. Most Bears teams usually come into those games completely flat. Last year they did it. Every year in Eberflus's tenure, I'm pretty sure they did it. Ben Johnson in his tenure with the Lions, after their bye weeks, he came out and scored 40 points a game. So maybe we're somewhere in the middle. I'm not sure, but I hope these guys are ready to go. And Tyrique is going to be a huge X factor, especially if they're going to get Kyler Gordon back too. We'll see how that kind of pans out this week throughout practice. We're not getting our first injury report until Thursday since it's a Monday game. So we're going to see. I hope Kyler Gordon is back in the fold. And if he is, that's another spot that the Commanders probably are not going to want to target very much because Kyler Gordon is phenomenal in coverage at that nickel spot. If he is indeed, still playing that nickel spot. We've heard some rumblings about them potentially throwing him out to, the boundary to help out the outside corner spot. But he's the best nickel, the best fit for nickel. You can do a lot of different stuff with him, and obviously that's where he's played and that's what he's paid to do. So I would keep him there, just in my opinion. But if he is back, they're going to go after, whoever's on the opposite side of Tyrique and Tyrique, right? They're going to push it to the boundaries. Daniels likes to throw it to the sideline, especially when McLaurin's in. He's going to throw a lot of back shoulder fades, different things like that down the field to stretch it out. And they like to do that a lot. So Tyrique Stevenson is going to have his hands full. But just imagine, just put yourself in this moment right now as a Bears fan, where we're getting close to the end of the game. It's a one-possession game. Commanders are driving down the field, and Tyrique Stevenson gets a pick to seal it, right? I mean, is there anything better that you could possibly imagine for this upcoming game than that happening? There's no possible better storyline that you could ask for in that situation is the Bears win and Tyrique Stevenson gets his redemption and seals it with a pick or some sort of turnover, something like that. It would absolutely be fantastic, and I want nothing more than that to happen. It's going to be a tough one this week for sure. The Commanders are a really good team, and they're going to start hitting their stride here soon. So it's going to be tough regardless, but I think that would be just the most amazing thing and best sight to see as a Bears fan. So, of course, Tyrique Stevenson, the man, is the X factor for this week. We're looking for him to have another big game, keep stacking these big games on each other. That's only going to benefit him, the Bears, the cornerback room in specific as we move forward, especially when Jaylon Johnson gets back, next year. If it is this year, late in the season, whatever it is, if you have Tyrique Stevenson locked down and then you got the other guys that are surefire, all-pro caliber type of corners, that's a very good room. And you're looking good on the defensive side of the ball in pass coverage from that point forward. So, of course, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining Bears Digest once again. We're going to be here all week recapping everything, practice, press conferences, the upcoming game. We're going to be here doing all of that. So be sure to stay tuned and subscribe. Hit that bell to get all the notifications for such. And, as always, bear down.